Chalkboard Artist, and here are some more boards that I'm demonstrating for you. This is work for a pub near where I live, and there's about 4 or 5 boards to do. This first one is bed and breakfast. Now I'm starting this with just white. It's possible to put colour on later, but I'm doing the main word here in white. Oh, that was quick. Now what's happened is I've done them quite large because it's on a main road, and it might well be that cars will go past maybe 50-60 miles an hour and they need to read it, so there's not a lot of point in putting detail on this at all. So it's mostly big single letters. I'm using only just 2 colours I think on this. Now there's some yellow. The message is bed and breakfast and 5 new bedrooms that they've done. I'm speeding up a bit now just to get through, there's a lot to get in. Notice I'm changing the styles around a little bit. New is a little bit more racy, and rooms again very straightforward, so it's very easy to read. At the bottom here I've just got to put some prices, and you notice rooms is white, so I might go back onto the yellow in a minute, probably for the price. Oh, I've gone a bit cursive, there we go, very nice. So rooms from, and then back onto the yellow. Nice big numbers. Now it leaves a bit of space at the bottom, which is best to be filled up with something, so I've just sketched out, as you can see, a bed and a bedside table. Get a nice perspective on it, it'll look like it's going to do the distance, and then add a bit of colour. And I decided to add a little bit of shading, or just push the white around with your finger lock just to make it look a bit more interesting. That's all you need to do. Write a bit of brown shadow on the word bed and breakfast, and rather than take ages over this and put orange and then yellow and then white and wait for it to dry, this time I'm just going to touch it with a bit of white while it's still wet, and you see it runs in slightly, and then when that's dry, make sure the pen's nice and clean and dot it again with white. There we are, finished board. Next, right, this time I've got to put Sunday roast, so I'm putting Sunday in big right across there. Now that all needs thickening, there we go, to make the downstrokes mostly thicker. Notice when I did Sunday it was fairly loose and controlled, but I knew where I was going to go. I'd got a line across, but it was on a slope, which makes it a little bit more interesting. The top of the D just cuts through the border. Now roast, I'm just going to contrast this and overlap slightly there, you see. Oh, it's Sunday lunch, sorry, it just says Sunday lunch. Here we are, Sunday lunch. But I'm going to make these letters nice and formal to contrast somewhat with the word Sunday above it. And lastly put the tail on the L to see where I'm going. Now I'm going to smarten up and make Sunday look a little bit more interesting by putting yellow on the top edge and pull it down into the white. And often with these I have to put another layer of white on to make it look a little bit more opaque. Then we can rub them together with my fingers. Right, I've put 5 starter main dessert to choose from, and you'll see that I've overlapped the letters. The letters are done in quite a thick pen, and they've overlapped a great deal, so by going over with the black, starting from left to right, you can start to pull them apart, and they look far more legible and a little bit more interesting. Right, 1 course, 2 courses and so on. Try to get all those looking the same, and I'm putting the pound sign down. I've gone straight down because we want everything in line, so if I put the pounds in place, then the other prices will fit and look pretty straight too. A little bit of a space there, bit of a picture, some yellow and white to start that glass off. Now it's dried a bit, add a bit more white and the reflection on the glass, some dots coming out, bubbles and whatever. and that's it, fine. Right, this time we've got the board, and it's hold your what's the word? Event. Hold your event. So it's a functions board. Put hold your across, and then I thought I'd put event nice and clean and square. Notice they're all very much touching together, like the high waist on the E and the N cutting out a little higher up. Now it's got a list here of weddings, christenings and so on. Weddings are done very fancy and flowing. Christenings a little bit similar, maybe a bit more restrained. Right, funerals a bit more what should we say, formal. So I've made it just straight, thicks and thins, but quite straightforward. You see, I've marked out in pencil, or pencil crayon, to say, make sure I don't overshoot. There's the word parties, which is a different feel to it altogether. Right, I'm going to go over parties in particular in yellow. Done it, they are. And gone yellow, white over most of the rest. Just going around with some black to sharpen up and create the overlaps. You can see the word parties has got all the letters overlapping, and they all need bringing out with black as well. Then I'm putting a purple shadow around, which I think purple's nice enough colour for funerals. And straight away, while it's a little bit wet still, just forcing a bit of white in. Got to rub it clean to make the effect come forward. And I'll put extra dots of white on that in a moment. Right, now just to go around the outer edge of the letters in parties to make them stand out. You can put quite big letters on a board like this and squash them up a bit, because the overlap gets more into a small space. Now I'm going to use a white just to pick out the highlighted top right hand edge, which helps it brighten up a bit. Now there's an orange going on the shadow side. That's the bottom left side of the letters. Of late I've been using this sort of sparkle, just dots going around, make it look a little bit like it's lit up somewhat. Right, I've had to put function room and then put the word private. I think it's private meetings or whatever. But I've needed to go to a small pen to fit all this in. There's quite a lot of information on here. Private or club functions, I think it is. You can see a blue shadow around the word weddings, and there's another one for lunch and dinner with a little dinner at the bottom, just for your information. And finally, don't forget you can buy the DVD from my website. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.
You are nearer to me than I am to myself, nearer to me than I know. You are nearer to me than I am to myself. You're with me wherever I may go.